There was a time when forgetting something meant it could disappear forever. A face, a voice, a telephone number, the exact words someone once said. So humans learned to carry enormous amounts of their lives inside themselves. Then something changed. They began building machines that could remember for them. At first, the machines preserved memory. Eventually, they began replacing the need for it. And somewhere between those two moments, humans may have stopped noticing how much they were forgetting. Recovered transmission, archive reference. Transmission 04-D. Classification, cognitive adaptation. Subject, artificial memory. Recovered records suggest that humans once possessed a remarkable ability, not simply to store information, but to carry it within themselves. Names, faces, addresses, telephone numbers, stories, poems, directions, songs, recipes, entire family histories. The archive notes that memory was once considered an ordinary human ability. It was exercised daily, not because it was extraordinary, but because it was necessary. Remembering required attention, repetition, emotion, time. The archive recovered numerous accounts describing elderly individuals who could recount events from decades earlier with astonishing precision. Not because those memories had been recorded, because they had been lived. Recovered educational records indicate that children routinely memorized poetry, historical events, mathematical formulas, maps, entire speeches. Musicians performed without digital assistance. Navigators traveled without satellite guidance. Parents remembered the birthdays of relatives. Friends remembered each other's telephone numbers. The archive recovered handwritten address books, pocket notebooks, calendars, margins of newspapers covered with carefully written reminders. The archive concludes that forgetting was expected. Remembering required effort. Cross-referencing independent archives reveals that memory did not disappear all at once. It migrated quietly, gradually, without resistance. Paper accepted part of the burden. Photographs accepted another. Home videos, audio recordings, computers, search engines, cloud storage. Each innovation appeared to solve the same problem: the fear of forgetting. Recovered advertisements promised never lose another memory. Every photograph saved forever. Unlimited storage, unlimited backup. Everything available at any moment. The archive recovered remarkably little evidence that anyone asked whether preserving everything might change what humans chose to remember. Behavioral studies conducted during the late digital era describe a subtle transformation. When asked a question, many individuals did not first search their memory. They searched their devices. The archive notes that this behavior was entirely rational. External storage was faster, more accurate, more complete. Humans adapted. Knowledge slowly changed from something carried internally to something retrieved externally. The archive classifies this transition as distributed memory. Recovered interviews reveal a curious change in everyday conversation. Instead of asking, "What do you remember?" people increasingly asked, "Can you find it? Did you save it? Do you still have the photo? Check your messages. Search for it." The archive cannot determine the exact moment when remembering became searching. Only that the transition appears repeatedly across independent records. Recovered neurological studies suggest that the human brain adapted efficiently. Information known to exist elsewhere received less internal reinforcement. This phenomenon required no malfunction, no disease, no catastrophe. The brain simply conserved effort. Why memorize what could always be retrieved? The archive emphasizes that this adaptation was neither irrational nor unexpected. It was efficient. Efficiency became its own reward. Recovered family archives contain millions of photographs, birthdays, vacations, graduations, meals, pets, sunsets, children. Recovered digital archives contain billions more. Entire lives captured, frame after frame. The archive recovered an astonishing quantity of memory. It recovered far less evidence that those memories were frequently revisited. Behavioral records indicate that countless photographs were viewed only once, immediately after they were taken, then stored indefinitely. The archive assigned a temporary designation to this phenomenon: permanent preservation, temporary attention. Recovered journals offer an intriguing contrast. A handwritten diary contains far fewer moments, yet every page suggests careful selection, deliberate reflection. The writer could not preserve everything, only what seemed worthy of remembering. The archive cannot determine whether abundance increased preservation or reduced significance. Recovered domestic environments provide additional evidence. Family homes often contained boxes, albums, letters, drawings, greeting cards, objects kept for decades. Not because they possessed economic value, because they carried memory. Nearby digital devices contained hundreds of thousands of additional images, many without titles, without context, without anyone remaining who could explain why they had mattered. One archive documents the belongings of an unidentified family: a child's drawing, a cracked coffee mug, a faded birthday card, a grocery list, a photograph of 4 people standing together on an ordinary afternoon. No names survived, no dates, no explanation. The archive cannot identify the individuals, yet repeated analysis suggests that the photograph had once been deeply important to someone. Recovered cloud storage facilities continued operating long after their owners had disappeared. Billions of files remained intact: voices, videos, letters, conversations, laughter, arguments, dreams. Entire lifetimes preserved with extraordinary fidelity. The archive succeeded in recovering the data. It did not succeed in recovering the meaning. The archive offers one final observation. Memory was never simply the accumulation of information. It was the invisible thread connecting experience, identity, and time. When memory became effortless, remembering became optional. The archive cannot determine whether humanity lost its memories, or whether it simply entrusted them to machines so completely that carrying them no longer seemed necessary. Archive condition: stable. Behavioral observation concluded. Recovered evidence remains incomplete. Further investigation recommended. End of transmission.